Hi everyone, it's Gina. Welcome back to my channel. I am sorry this video is late. I apologize. When you work a full-time job, sometimes it's just hard to find the energy, the time, the creativity to do something new and create a video. But I am here, and even though I didn't record, I was kind of playing around with materials, and I came up with these little guys, and they're made of envelopes. Now this is the first one I made. I thought it turned out really cute, and there are pockets here and a pocket here. Okay, and yeah, and at the bottom here it has a little pocket as well. I left the flap on, and I need to make a closure for it because it's so thick, it doesn't want to stay closed. So what I'll probably do is just find something to put here and just have some string wrap around just to close it. But I thought it was really, really cute. Now the next one I did was this one, and the design is much easier. And I just thought it turned out so cute. And I used much thinner paper, so as you can see, it is super thin, and it's perfect just to slide into a journal. And it's decorated very simply on the outside with just some little pieces of ephemera that I've gotten from a previous kit. And underneath, I've got a little bit of material. And let me tell you, this material, it's a flour sack towel. And I got this at the dollar store. So go check out your dollar store. This is like awesome material, and you get just a ton of it. So go check that out. But this one opens up, and it has pockets on either side. And I just took some little papers and stamped just a note. This would be a great place to tuck some journal cards and just, you know, have extra writing space. Sometimes journals get made and they're so full of stuff that doesn't always leave a lot of room to journal. But this is a great way to add some extra journaling places in your journal because it's so sleek and it just slips right in. And this one I just threw together last night. I'm not done decorating it, but you know, you can get a little more elaborate with your design on the inside. And this one only opens right here. It only has the one pocket on the inside, but it does also open on this side. This will be great even just to stick in your purse. You can use it like a wallet. You can maybe stick some receipts in here, put some coupons in here. I'm sure you can find a lot of different uses for this. Now, how did I make them? At the same time I bought that flour sack at the dollar store, I also grabbed some envelopes. And this is what I used to make this project. It gives you the dimensions right here. I was sitting here and just kind of playing around with them and shoving them this way and that way, and I came up with these little guys. I didn't watch another video, I just was playing around, but by no means would I ever claim to invent this. I'm sure it's been done dozens and dozens of times, but it just shows you don't always have to watch videos. Just sit and play with your materials and you could come up with something really great. So these are similar in design, but they're all a little bit different. This one has an extra flap, and it has like a cover, the lid that comes down. This one is solid in the back, and it has two openings on the inside. And this one opens like this, just like this one, but it only has one opening on the inside. And they all came from basically the same design. So this is what we're going to make today for our project, and I hope you stick around. Let's get started. I think for today's project we're going to do a combination of these two. And the reason is to make this as simple as possible. What I'm going to do is a solid back like this one, but it's only going to have one pocket like this one. Because out of everything, the most difficult part is covering the pockets. At least I thought so. But what I'll do is, as I'm making it today, I'll show you how I made the other ones. So if you want to make those variations, you can. Your first step is always going to be to slide one tab into the other, like this. Okay? Now, it depends on what side you glue your little tab on that you've inserted. as to how many pockets you'll have available. If you slide it in and you glue right here, well, that's going to glue that shut, so you're only left with the one pocket. If you want to have the two pockets open, you'll need to glue on the back and then put it in this way and glue it down like that. And that way you've got the two pockets. Now for this one, I didn't want this back flap showing, so you have a couple of options. You can just cut it off, or you can just tuck it in. I just tucked it in and glued it down. It removes the flap. And then I came in and inserted my other envelope and glued it down like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add some glue and glue this one down. And look, I got more Fabri-Tac. But I'm going to use this because I like how it doesn't make the paper buckle. And I used really thin paper. It worked out really great. What I do like about it is that it doesn't, at least on paper, it doesn't attach right away. It gives you time to kind of get things in place. Okay. And just slide it in. Now, I'm going to take my second envelope and I'm going to slide it in like this. Now when you add this envelope, I want you to look up here. You don't want it to touch. You want to leave it a little bit open, but you got to be careful. You don't want it to shift around and get like that where it's uneven and it doesn't line up. You want it to be flush like that. So that's the only thing you kind of have to be careful of. So I try to keep it flat and pull it out just enough to where it covers the sticky stuff, about like that. And again, this side's going to be totally glued and it's going to have paper on it, so don't worry about if sticky stuff shows. It doesn't really matter. I was just using that as a guide. Since I'm going to go ahead and close up this pocket, I'm going to add my glue to the inside of my tab. Okay, let's make sure that I'm lined straight as I can up top and down at the bottom. Okay, fold it over and everything looks like it matches, mostly. Okay, so there we go. That's glued in. All right, I put a little mat on my table that's dark so you can actually see what I'm doing. Kind of hard to see a white project with a white table behind it. Okay, so here's what we've got. We have our one pocket, and we've glued this side in to where there's no pocket. And this part opens in the back. Now, you can leave it like that. If you want that part to open, you just have to make your paper glue two separate pages, and that way it will remain open. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up covering this whole piece. And I'll probably go ahead and stick a little bit of glue in here to help it lay flat. Now we have our one pocket here, and this will be a solid back. And this will be solid. I'll try to think of how I made the first one that has three. I was just playing around, and I wish I had written it down because I'm struggling to figure out how I even did it. Let's see. What I think I did was I created this piece. I laid it like this and then just ran a piece of masking tape and taped it together. I got this pocket, solid, solid, and then this pocket. Okay, that's how I did it. We're just going to go ahead and start covering it with paper. In thinking about picking paper, I was looking at the ones I've already made, and these two are kind of dark, so I thought I might need another kind of light, maybe pink or red or pastel, or, you know, something a little lighter to go with this one. And also the type of paper, This is really thick paper, and it's really good and sturdy because, you know, I do have it on both sides. So that really makes each one of these really strong. And that would be great to hold up if you're going to use it as a wallet, like carry it around in your purse, or, you know, bring it with you on vacation and take out and, you know, jot notes down. But I think today I'm going to stick with the thinner paper. That really makes it nice and sleek and perfect for journals. And I'm working up to preparing to make a journal, so I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with the thin paper. I think I'm going to pull from this paper pad. That's not bad. Since the way I'm going to do it is make the whole back piece as one, it really needs to be as wide as my project, and this is. So I think this will work just right. I usually use at least 2 different papers, so I want to find something that complements, and honestly, I may just go ahead and use this one. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is my outside cover. And I want it to cover the whole piece in one shot. And does this have a right side? I guess that's the right side up. Okay. Just take a pencil. I'm going to take this to my cutting board and I'll be right back. All right, I have my paper cut. Now I also pulled a couple of extra pages because I like to have the inside be a different color or a different paper like that. So I went ahead and grabbed a couple of other pages just to have some choices, and we'll see which ones look best. But for now, I'm going to flip this over. For some reason I like the pocket to be on the right. Okay. This way. I'm going to flip this over, and now I'm going to glue on my cover. I guess I didn't use my other Fabri-Tac enough to really know, but man, it has a strong smell. Does anybody else notice that? Okay, so we're going to put that here like this. Fabri-Tac is very generous. You have time to move it around, but I think I'm covered. Let me flip it around. Okay, that looks good. And I'm just going to take something and use my bone folder and then just kind of make sure it gets pressed down real well. Let's go ahead and fold it. And there we go. My bone folder. Here we go, our cover is on. That was the easy part. Here comes the harder part, and this is where it comes in super handy to have a template. Did I do it backwards? I bet I did. After all that, I did it backwards, and now my pocket's on the left. Okay, I mean, it doesn't really matter. My personal preference was to have it on the right, but okay, apparently not this time. Alright, so our template is going to be used to cover the piece that has our pocket. What I did was I laid it down and just kind of kept lifting it up, and then I'd draw it, and I always kind of sketched a little bigger than it was and then trimmed it down. You can always trim it down rather than just trying to be precise your first go and then it's too short and you got to start all the way over again. But I'd get the bottom lined up, and then I just kind of keep lifting up and just do the best you can. I mean, that's what I did. Okay, now I need to decide how I want to do my inside as far as colors go. You can do this however you want. You can make your outside of your pocket one color, and you can make the entire inside, this side and the inside one color. You can do this one color, this side one color, and have a totally different color for your inside of your pocket. It's totally up to you. Let your imagination go wild. Just do whatever you want. So, I kind of like the idea of the dark one for the inside part. Maybe I can just do the pink on the outsides. I think that's what I'm going to do. I will need to do one side like this, and then I'll have a solid piece over here. I'm going to flip it over just cut myself out another big square. Okay, I'm going to go cut this and be right back. Now I'm going to take my template and just lay it on top. And you can give yourself a little extra room by leaving a little bit down here. When I cut it, I cut wide, so I got a little bit of spare room here as well. And there we go. Now for the inside part, I found that cutting a rectangle just so that it's small enough to slide in is fine. And you can have it just, you know, come down to here, or you can have it go all the way down to the end. That's totally up to you. And as for this side, all I need to do is just, you know, cut this straight so that it covers. When I cut for the inside of the pocket, I'm not going to cut to where it ends right here on the fold. I'm going to go ahead and make it extend past the fold. That way everything's covered. You don't have to worry about pieces of paper being cut just perfectly and then like rubbing together if they're not the right size. It's just the easiest thing to do. So I'm going to go cut these two and I'll be right back. And here are our 3 pieces that we'll need to cover the inside. The first thing I'm going to do is put in the inside part of the pocket. I'm going to slide it in, and I made mine to where it goes all the way in until it touches the bottom. Now, what you'll also notice, it does leave a little bit of a gap. But it's not anything that bothers me on this one. It has a little bit of a little edge there on the inside that doesn't have any paper on it. But I ink around it anyway, and it's just not noticeable, at least not to me. But if it bothers you, then you might want to be more precise and get your inside piece of paper just as close as you can so that it slides in and fits in without buckling, but covers as much of the edges as you can possibly cover. But I'm fine with this as it is. I'm just going to glue it in. I'm not going to worry about getting glue all down in there. If I glue this part, that part down there will not move. It'll be fine. I'm going to shove my glue in and just start smearing glue all over. And when it gets close to the top, I'm going to switch and put it onto the paper. All right, so I'm going to center it, okay, and then just push it down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fold it to get my crease. Okay, now I just noticed, you can see this top of the pocket, it's curling a little bit. I guess that's from the extra layer. I'm just going to trim that off. Just going to shorten that just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this one too. Okay, now I'm going to glue on the cover of my pocket. These pieces are long. They were already a little long, but now that I've cut the bottom part of the envelope, it's even longer. So I need to trim these off. Okay, I can see on the inside I have quite a bit more I can cut. Now I'm going to add the other piece. Now I'm going to fold it up a little bit so that I can see where the crease is and make sure that this is straight. And then just use my bone folder and rub it down. Alright, now I'm going to take a quick second. I'm going to go around and make sure all my edges are really glued down well. I know I was using Fabri-Tac and I love it because you saw how much I put on and it doesn't warp or do, you know, make the paper go funny or anything. And this was pretty thin paper. But I think for this step, I'll probably go ahead and use my art glitter glue because it's got the super fine point. I want to make sure it's sealed down all the way around. Okay, now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim off the extra. And now, you guessed it, it's time to ink. I like to use walnut stain. A lot of people use the vintage photo. I like the darker edges better, so I tend to grab this one first. Alright, that is pretty much the end of the process. So here we have our little billfold. I think it turned out really cute. The hardest part is doing the inside, but even the hardest part isn't that hard. It just takes some finagling, it takes some patience. You know, snip things off where you need to, glue where you need to. You know, pay attention when you're putting your paper down so your pocket's on the side that you want it on. You know, it's the attention to detail that really pays off in the end when it's completed and it looks really nice. I think it turns out really cute and it's not that hard. So beginners, I hope you stayed with me till the end. And listen, if you come across problems, you know, or issues when you're putting it together, don't give up. Think about ways you can fix it. So if you glue something, if you're using a glue that adheres really quickly and you barely got time to do it and it's all cockeye, don't worry about it. Cut off what's hanging off the edge and find another piece of paper that complements it and put that on top, or maybe put a bunch of different pieces of paper on it and just kind of collage. Don't give up, just keep going, and you know, you'll be able to do it. This part does take some practice. Once you get a good template, you are good to go. The last thing I'll say is you saw me condition it, right? Just kind of really work with it to help to get it to close. And it closed a lot better after I did that. But look, it will still pop up. It's not so bad. But this one I made last night did the exact same thing. But when I was done, I put something heavy on top, and this morning it is flat as a pancake. So that's what I'll do to this one as well. I hope you found this project fun and interesting, and hopefully you learned something. And if you did, give me that thumbs up and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about it, and let me know what else you would use this for. Would you put it in a journal? Would you keep it in your purse? So yeah, leave me a comment below and let me know. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!